yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my living room in Vancouver, Canada. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Friday, April 24th, 2020 and this is video number 49. So it's been a week since I uploaded my last video and I thought it's about time that I come in and showcase what I've been up to for the week. So I've got some finished objects, some works in progress, and a little bit of intentions that I want to share with you. I've also subscribed to Knit Crate, which is I guess a yarn company that posts out different mystery yarns every month, and I'm unsure whether I want to continue with it. I haven't even received my first one yet, but I want to pick your brain on like whether you found it to be value for money, your experience with getting Knit Crate. I might give it a go for a little while, maybe 2 or 3 months, and see out of the 3 months whether or not whether they hit the points of value for me, and if not, then I will unsubscribe. But yeah, I'm willing to give it a go for a couple of months. So yeah, I also want to welcome anyone who is new to this channel, and I don't know whether I've said this already, but if I have, please forgive me. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, I set this channel up to explore all my yarn journey, my knit, crochet, my hand dyeing as well. I just started hand dyeing in the kitchen, and nothing on a big scale, maybe 12 or 15 skeins of yarn at a time. And I'm really enjoying it. So if you do like what you are listening to and what you're seeing with my exploration, please think about subscribing, giving me a thumbs up. It'll be great to have you in amongst my fiber friends. So to all the fiber friends who have been with me for a while and who have just subscribed, welcome back, I should say. And yeah, so let's get stuck into some of the things that I've been that I've been dealing with for the week. And I'm going to start with a piece that is getting stuck on this coat hanger right now. So it's the Dragon Belly shawl, and I showcased this a few weeks ago, but this is a little bit of a introduction to what I've done for the second garment. So this is what I showcased a couple of weeks back. It's the Dragon Belly shawl, and it's a free pattern. It's awesome. Love this pattern. It is from a design from Johanna Lindahl, and that's what the printout looks like. Sorry it blew out there, but I'll link the free pattern down below in the description box. And so what I had done was I had worked it up in Red Hearts. It's a wrap in the colorway Couture, and I worked it up to the point where I ran out of yarn and I had nothing left to do the border. So I wanted to do the pattern again just to give it a bit of justice to see what the border looked like in the pattern. So hence why I'm showcasing this before I showcase the next one. And as you can see, it has this beautiful ridging. And the other side is kind of like flat, but it does have the lace work that shows through. Really nice and drapey. Rolls up to the size of, maybe a pair of woolen socks. So if you're going anywhere, this is a great thing to pack in your suitcase. But right now we can't go anywhere because of what's going on out there. So this is the second Dragon Belly shawl that I worked up. So it's in a different yarn base, and I'll talk about the yarn in just a moment, but it worked up just amazingly in these turquoises and lime greens, a little bit of almost like a light pale blue as well. Different colorway. This is going to be gifted to someone, so I'm going to send this out pretty soon to be gifted, and I think that they will love it. I hope so anyway. And the border, so let's get stuck into the border. It was a wonderful border for the design. I love putting the border on, and the saving grace for the pattern is that the designer has put visual as well on where to put the hook for the border treatment. And I'm not too familiar with a lot of pattern reading, but the saving grace for me was those pictures. So that was a great asset to have with the pattern. And there is an interesting little bit of I guess stitch work that you need to do when you're in the last leg of the border. So the pictures actually helped. And you may see something a little different that I've added to this design, and it was to include two-fold. So I added another yarn to this, and it's a polyester yarn because the blue turquoise yarn is a cotton acrylic base, quite a stiff and a very sturdy yarn. So I added a nice soft, what was it, polyester Red Heart baby yarn, which is in their brand called Love, L-U-V I think it's called. And it gave a nice soft interior. So when the person wears this, they won't feel such a coarse acrylic cotton against their skin. They'll feel this nice polyester based yarn that is super soft against their skin. And I really like the design as well on the inside. So it added another feature so that if this is wrapped around the person's body, neck and shoulders, and it decides to be rolled in, like to expose the inside, it has a dual purpose. It creates a different texture for the wear as well. So I'm just going to arrange it here on the hanger so that you can see the added bonus of the slip stitch on the inside. And it's actually twofold purpose. So it's a design based purpose, but also a wearing comfort purpose. So here it is here. So as you can see, you get a great sense of the original design coming through with the ridging and the open lace area, and then you get these lovely extra line works for direction, for design interest, as well as that lovely feel of the polyester baby yarn on the inside. So twofold and looks amazing as well. So yeah, I love that. Amazing. So let's talk about the yarn. So the yarn that I used for that gift, the belly shawl was, Dragon Belly Shawl, was Havana yarn from Hobbii, H-O-B-B-I-I. I had to think there for a moment. And it is 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. And in this cake, I got 800 meters, or approximately 800 meters, they say. And it is considered I believe a lightweight 3, although the band does not say. It is like a lightweight 3. So that's it there. And I got this on discount from the website. I believe that the cake was around $15. But I was, and this is all that I had left of the cake. So probably maybe 30 grams left of the yarn. And I went through my stash because I thought this yarn looked very familiar. And I found another ice yarn which is very similar in structure and color. Like I don't mean the actual color, but the whole marling texture technique. And it has the exact same mix of content. So it is 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. And the feel is very much the same as well. So if you're looking for a substitute to the pattern that I was working with the Havana, and you prefer to buy from Ice Yarns, this would be a great substitute. So it is the Lorena Colorful, and I believe you get an 8-pack of these in the purchase when you buy them. Just means that you have a lot more ends to tie to tie in, and with the cake you get to use it's the work is seamless, like there's no tying in of ends because it's one continuous join of yarn. The other thing about the colorways is that you might not see a colorway that you like in the Havana, but you might see one that you like in ice yarn. So it just opens up the doorway to try different colorways as well. I have also used the gray and white, not in the Dragon Belly, but in another project. So that is the Dragon Belly shawl. Really, really happy with that. The second thing that I want to talk about is another finished item, and it is this slouch beanie. So it's a slouchy hat beanie, and why I did this was I wanted to learn how to do the jogless knitting technique. So jogless knitting, or when you knit in the round and you're changing colors, you get generally a jog, which is like the colors don't line up. Because you are working in a spiral effect, the first row is always going to be lower than when you complete the row and meet up at the end of that row to begin your second row. So it is a spiral, as you can see here. And in jogless knitting, it eliminates all of the, I guess, the disjointed jogs that you would see in the color work. The only thing that you see with jogless knitting is where you begin and where you end. All the way through the rest of it, you're slipping stitches before you reach the conclusion of the round, and you switch out the color accordingly. So your starting point in the spiral kind of shifts throughout the design. So as you can see here, there's a great representation there of no jog. And I messed up just up there with the extra gray bit there. I must have pulled up the wrong stitch yarn to complete that stitch. But yeah, really, really happy, and I enjoyed that that technique a lot. So you can do that in body work of a sweater if you're changing skeins, or you're using, say for example, you're using hand dyed yarn and the skeins are slightly different. You can actually do this helico knitting, I think it's what it's called, throughout. So you're blending the two yarns to work up a large panel of your sweater, and that way you don't see a definite change in the tone that you've purchased in the second skein when you're attaching it. You get the blend happening all the way through. So this is another gift that I'm giving for a birthday present, and I think she's gonna really like it. She requested to have a gray hat. I know it's cream and silver, but the majority of it is kind of like a gray color. So what I used in that hat was, I'll just showcase it again, is Lion Brand Scarfie in silver and cream is the colorway, and I added to that, this was the base of the beanie, and I added in a, excuse me while I reach down here, the striping here is Willow's, there we go, Willow's Everest, and this one is in the colorway Steel. Really, really nice soft yarn. If you're not familiar with the Willow Everest, because a lot of people they're familiar with Scarfie, this one is really soft. It's a 3-weight, and it is a combination of superwash merino. You get 50% superwash merino and 50% microfiber, and it is a hand wash yarn, so lay flat to dry as well. So I thought that worked up really well in the color. The weights are different because Lion Brand Scarfie suggests that it's a 5 bulky, and I'm pairing it with a 3-weight. But because I'm changing out the color every row, I'm not seeing the effect of large panels of different different weights of yarn being used. And generally when you use different weighted yarns and you are knitting, say, large panels or areas in the design, you will see it bowing in and bowing out for where you're combining a thicker weight yarn, and then sort of shrinking in when it's the thinner weight yarn. But because I was alternating in tight confinements, like each row was different, I don't see that happening at all. So it worked up well together. Really, really like that. And the little finish there was a multiple of 5 decrease. So I believe I had 80. Yeah, I had 80 stitches on the needle, and I decreased in rows of, I guess, groups of 5, and then decreased until I had only a few stitches left live, and I just broke the yarn and wove in that end and drew it all closed, cinched it up. So yeah, it's very, very floppy. I really like the fabric. Turned out really well. So I also have works in progress. My blanket, it's the one chevron scarf that I've doubled up, and I'm making it wider and longer. So I'm creating a blanket out of that. I've done a couple more stripes, but I put that in a timeout because I really got chevroned out. I was like, you know, when you get to the point where you're up to row maybe 300 and you've been doing the same stitch again and again and again, I was like, yeah, I need to put that aside for a while. And I think I burnt out my Crojo, not my Crojo, but my Knitjo with the chevron stitch, because I also did something else chevron, and I should not have done it at this point in time. But I had some scraps to get through, and I did more chevron knit stitch, and this one is to Fiber Spider's tutorial, and I'll link his tutorial down below. I just wanted to see what all my scraps would look like in a chevron panel. So I was going for it until I got to the end, and I thought, you know what, I'm just biting off. It's like, I'm sick of this stitch. So this is what I worked up. It's a very stretchy, drapey fabric, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might whip stitch the ends together and create a cowl. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but that's the other side of it. They kind of do look like Fiber Spider's colors too. He loves autumnal colors, so I don't know. Thanks, Fiber Spider, for that tutorial, by the way. I loved it. So yeah, I'll link everything that I've mentioned down below as if they're from patterns or if they're tutorials that I followed, and that's where you can find them. I'm not affiliated with any of these yarn companies that I'm talking about, so Lion Brand or Willow's yarn. I'm just, or the Hobie yarn. I'm just giving you my honest opinions and putting all the links down below for your ease of access. So yeah, the next thing that I want to share with you is my intentions. So I am thinking of going back in the kitchen to do some dyeing, and I have not been able to purchase much in the way of the bare yarns because I think Knit Picks was shut down for a while for quarantine, and they're now limited with the amount of people that they can have in their factories. So the shipments are a little bit delayed. And I thought, well, I'll just go through my stash and see what I can over dye. So all these yarns that I'm going to show you are kind of beige or grey yarns or slightly coloured yarns that I'm thinking of over dyeing. And I did look at their content to see whether they had a part of them was at least a natural fibre. So either a wool base or a cotton or a linen, to see, you know, to be sure that the dye technique that I'm going to be using will take to those fiber bases. So I am going to be over dyeing, and I've done these this particular skein before, but I'm going to try a different colorway and a different dye base. And this is Peyton's Classic, and this one is a marl between a light grey and a like an off-white. So I'm going to be using that one in my next experiment. I'm using cotton cream or cream cotton from Loops and Threads. Oh, that's really blowing out. And I got this from Michael's. And this one is 87% cotton and 13% nylon. The dye that I have that I'm thinking of using actually adheres to nylon as well. So I've tried this one as well, but I'm going to try it again. And it's the Kartopu Natural Angora. So this is a really, really nice one. This one is a new yarn that I have not tried yet, but I have done a tweed variety of this type of yarn in Hobium's, I think it's called Hobium Tweed, but this one is a Mary Maxim one called Natural Alpaca, and that has the tweed in. I'm going to over dye that. And I have another skein of a yarn that I dyed in, I guess it was a green colorway. We're going to try it in a different one. This one is from Hobium and it's called Cashmere Gold. I'm going to try that. I'm going to do an wool easy, sorry, in Lamia from Hobium Yarns. It has a kind of a pale, cool grey color, so that might be an interesting base to over dye. I'm doing some more knit picks in the Color Mist series, and I'm gonna over dye that. I'll just pull one out so you can see that. Oh no, that's blowing out too. It's really, really soft. It's a cotton base. So yeah, and I did an Aztec Gold on top of this, and what was really lovely about it is the specks of green that runs through this, like a grey green. They came out in the over dye as well. So where that is now, it created a new color with the Aztec Gold and that grey green color. So I'm going to do all 4 of those skeins, maybe 5. That's another skein of that Mary Maxim. I have another one of these wool, 100% wool base from Lamia, and that was also purchased from Hobium. Do a different colorway in that one. And I do have 2 more knit picks in the Sport Weight, which is 75% merino and nylon, I think. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So I've got 2 of those. So I have like around 15 skeins of yarn just in my stash alone, and really only 2 of them from the knit picks is the bare yarn. So what I'm going to be using as inspiration for coloring those yarn that I just showcased are some coasters that I got gifted to me from my beautiful mother-in-law. So I did not make these coasters. She found them in a lovely store somewhere on Vancouver Island, I believe. So I'm using these as inspiration points for color. So very festive, very warm colors, and it's going to change up. My last couple of experiments were with teals and browns and Aztec Gold, which is probably a little bit of Aztec Gold I can use to create some of these. But I love Aztec Gold. But these ones will be more concentrating on purples, reds, oranges, with hints of, I guess, yellow golds and a little bit of green maybe, would be nice. So yeah, I'm super looking forward to trying the next experiment in the kitchen using these tiles as, or the coasters as inspiration points. So yeah, thanks for watching anyway. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please think about subscribing if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so yet. That would be great to have you in my fiber friends. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.